Hi, and welcome to the Road to Sustainability podcast. Today I have the great honor to host Anindita Sinha. Anindita is the head corporate communication of the Metro Rail Hyderabad in India. She has an extended experience of more than 3 decades in both operation and communication fields in public and private sectors. Anindita will share with us what empowerment means and what is important to her as a leader and as a woman. She will provide us with insightful recommendations and advices to support the movements towards a better future. Hello, Anindita. How are you?
I'm fine, Neil. Good afternoon to you and hello to you from India. Well, it's lovely to connect with your podcast. You're doing a phenomenal job and you're doing the right thing, which is needed for the hour, opening up your startup and doing so well, and especially women working for women's movement. That's the ultimate thing what we should do in today's day. That can only help us.
Thank you so much. I highly appreciate it. It's really important to me and really meaningful. We connected a few days ago following up an event that took place in India on an
Yes.
initiative from the GCPIT. And the whole event was dedicated to diversity, ethics, and inclusion. You have such an amazing journey, and I'm super curious and eager to hear more. So welcome to the show.
Yes, I'm excited as well.
So, would you like to tell us a bit more about your background and experience?
To you once again, and good afternoon, everyone who's hearing this podcast. And a big hello again, once again from India. I'm Anindita Sinha, and presently I'm heading the corporate communication for Larsen and Toubro's Metro Rail division in Hyderabad. Well, I am fortunate to have a professional experience of more than 3 decades, and I initially started working in operations in aviation. And gradually, I moved towards the communication domain, which always intrigued me, and I found it very interesting because of the newness in it, because of the enthusiasm in it, because of trying to do something new every time, and be alert 24/7, because I feel that if you are an alert and aware individual, you can be a very successful professional also, because your individual self too has some manifestation on your professional entity also, and both supplement and complement each other. And of course, corporate communication is extremely a dynamic field, which we all know. Being a woman, yes, I had faced many challenges, to be very honest, because whether we agree or not, or I think we agree that the world is still a male dominated one. Anyways, I started with aviation, and I have been fortunate to work at 3 very major airports in India, which is Calcutta, or Kolkata as we call now, and Bombay, or Mumbai as we call now, and Hyderabad. For Mumbai Airport has taught me really, really lot in terms of crisis, which I think one leader should know when the person is working in any CXO level. And I was also the spokesperson for Mumbai Airport, which helped me learn a lot as from my this is my professional self, and after a point of time I thought that okay, I have learned certain things in aviation, and let me try a new field. So when I was offered this position to head the corporate communication for L&T Metro Rail Hyderabad, I really grabbed it, because I always wanted to try something new and learn something new. So it is also transportation, but it is the railways now, Metro Rail. I am the single daughter, and being brought up in a very progressive family with working parents. My dad used to work for PwC, and my mother used to work for a Public Sector Undertaking, Steel Authority of India. And I was, and presently I am married. My husband is also an entrepreneur, and I have 2 sons. So this is, and I have beautiful, rescued kittens, 4 of them at home, which keeps me always happy. This is, more or less what is my background. Yes, I also have the experience of working in public sector undertaking, as we call in India, government service with Airports Authority of India, and later on with private conglomerates like GVK Group, GMR Group, and now L&T. And of course, a brief stint in travel agency, Yatri Travels. Well, this is my background, more or less. And what else? I love cooking, I love dancing, I love networking, and I work very seriously for the cause of rescuing animals and other social causes where I think I can contribute my wee bit.
Wow.
That's it.
What an impressive journey. Wow. Really, I applaud you. It's like, it's tremendous, and congratulations for everything that you did.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, the journey has been long, and so the learning also is quite a bit for me to look back at life and take them as case studies for my present and future need, if any, whenever.
How would you rate the background that you had, the feeling as a woman in such heavy industries when you look back?
Okay, rate is 1 to 5. I would, at this point, as I'm talking to you, after 30 plus decades, I definitely can say 4 to 4.5 for a reason, because I have developed that attitude, the right attitude, which was needed from me, the right attitude, what was needed from me, and I could respond to it. Well, success cannot be defined, but as and when I went forward, I looked at life, I looked at the challenges, and took it in my stride as we moved. And today I can say that I'm a confident woman, confident individual, that I am ready for any crisis which can come. To deal with it with my experience and with my strategic skills, analytic skills. So at this moment, after, it wasn't so easy. The journey wasn't really easy. I think whatever I have gained today, wherever I am standing, in my small self, my stand, my space, it is due to sheer hard work and self-motivation more than anyone motivated me. So that is, I think, what I require, and I feel happy that I had a lot of failures in my life, which made me learn how to look at life practically, on a practical note. And that is the reason today I feel that I am quite confident to accept any challenge, and also my learnings are helping me in the way, but I have a lot to learn way forward.
Aparna quoted last time, Aparna Kumar, that I had the great chance to interview last time, told that women across the globe are facing almost the same problems. Do you feel the same?
We are facing more or less the same problem. Of course, there is a difference as different countries, they have their own culture. Some countries are very progressive, very inclusive, and very gender biased, but some countries are still not. They have to develop a lot on accepting that women as leaders. See, what happens here is at the base level, at the ground level, women are still accepted. There are reasons to it. I'll definitely come again. Come on it. I'll discuss on it. But what happens is the problem comes when the acceptance of a woman as a leader or in the boardroom. There comes a problem. So that mindset, that paradigm shift. I think it'll take a long time We are just at a nascent stage.
Yes.
And it is a movement which has to go, and whatever we have achieved till now, it is for us women to take it forward, believe in ourselves, and also be inclusive towards any gender or any I would say regional diversity and gender diversity.
Yes.
And it is for us to prove a point, not by words but through actions. It is very much required, but the problem more or less still remains the same. Maybe improvement has come, I agree, but it's a long movement. It's a long way.
It's a long road.
That we have to long way we have to still travel.
Yeah, it's something that is really often repeated, and sounds like I'm personally leading these new movements and ventures, and especially in the tech industry today. We have something like only 1/4 of executive roles that are held by women. And somehow, every time over again, I'm meeting a lot of executives all around my activities. What do you expect for women in terms of education and in terms of employment that is needed for the future?
First of all, we have to be very clear what we are looking at. I mean, for any individual, for any women, two things I think is very important: how we are looking at life and what we are looking from life. This is very important. Now,
both sides of the table.
Yes, if someone wishes to remain a homemaker, nothing bad about it. If I want to pursue a career and make my own, create my own space as a leader, then my approach should be different. When I'm saying that if I want to be a homemaker, nothing bad about it. If we really see, I personally feel that mothers who are homemakers, they are the best CEOs of the world. If you really see, their leadership skills, they're managing different departments, and this I'm talking about India, because India we see the percentage of working women is still not very commendable. People still prefer to be homemakers, but nothing bad about it. If you're happy and complacent with it, be so. Because mothers are the best CEOs. They manage the HR department, the facilities, they're the best managers. So that is a. However, I would always prefer that even if you're a homemaker, do something, create your own stand in the society, your individual existence, even if you're earning a very small amount, but you should have that eagerness to do so. And this is when I'm talking about women who want to pursue their careers, not to disregard people who wants to remain just looking after their home, but then even if you wish to do that, at least be financially independent in your own small way, that you can cater to your needs and not ask from someone. Also, if you can contribute, because see, equality is what we are talking about. We are always this year's women theme is about leadership and choose to challenge. So what should we choose to challenge? We should choose to challenge the status quo. And every year we should excel, we should improve on that. Now, for people who wants to be a professional, you have to direct your thoughts and desired channels. You first need to know what you want to do, what type of job you need to do, and one has to be practical in terms of choosing your career, because as passion is important, you have to be practical and balance that it gives you money good enough to lead a particular lifestyle. Because times the romanticism is so in young people, even we were young at that time, that we feel, okay, with this passion we can be very successful. The ground reality is not that. So one has to be very practical while choosing your career. First you have to see what your aptitude says, what your USPs are, what your what you're not very good at. Like personally, I am very weak in numbers in math. Now if I would have thought that, okay, no, but still I would go for that, it would have taken me a long time maybe, or maybe not to come to a position where I am. So one has to be very practical. So to direct your thoughts in desired channels, then of course to crystallize your own thinking. One has to crystallize their own thinking. It is very required to indicate someone's present position on the road to success, that where am I today, what am I, where do I want to reach, what are my short-term goals, what are my long-term goals, and encourage us to decide exactly where I want to be. Now if I do not want to be a leader, because see, not everyone has that fighting instinct, that killer instinct to be a leader, that I have to lead a team, I will be the CXO, I will be the CEO, I'll be leading a company, or like you, that I will be my own manager, and I'll be the owner, and I'll give employment for many other people. So you have that entrepreneur skills. Now it again depends what you are good at and what is your bent of mind.
I would just like to get back to, you mentioned that you have 2 sons. And you mentioned also a bit earlier about the fact that we have to somehow teach to youth and to the next generation what to choose and how to practice. What would be the advice and what are the advices actually that you give to your sons regarding diversity and regarding inclusion?
And this, I am not just saying it for the sake of saying it, but this is what we practice at home. Starting from the household work, I'm just going to the grassroots.
Yes.
Every work in my household, in our household, is everyone's work. We do not have that concept that kitchen is only for me. Especially I think this pandemic has taught every one of us in the world to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. So it is not what you advise your son or what I advise my son. The culture what I have set in my house, and I think it is all about the culture. It is not a piece of advice which you say and then you don't take it forward. That what I do is important, and if I get stuck at office for some work and I come home late, I don't feel guilty, and my sons have learned that there is nothing to be guilty about it. So what I do is I call them and say that today I'll be late, so you need to do these tasks. So what happens is, they grow up by learning that this is, it is all about, what to say, it's a very democratic approach in that terms. And when they have their families, it will not be very difficult for them to follow this, because they've already learned this in the journey, and their spouses would also have a comfortable life because they'll have understanding husbands. So this is all about setting the culture and not only advising them. So even you have your studies, when you have your studies, I'm there to help. When I have my office work, you should be there to help, whether I'm in tours or whatever the situation is. So we have a very equal distribution of work at home, amongst 4 of us.
Way to teach your children and drive them through different kind of crises, and as we have right now, and in terms of evolution, everyone
see, unless we have this culture at home, they don't get that imbibed in them at workplace also. So they'll become more inclusive, they'll become more understanding.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that is somehow recognized as a pattern that goes along with empowerment, because when you evolve as women, in terms of status, in terms of evolution in your career, in your personal life. I see that really there is somehow a balance that is taking place also on the personal side. And that's something that you mentioned also a bit earlier about leadership. I mean, what kind of things, what are the things that are inspiring you and boosting you to set the bar even higher?
See, first of all, as we say that leaders are born, when a child is born, they don't come with a tag of a leader on their forehead. Okay, leaders actually are groomed. So I feel that a leader is born the moment you start doing a task by your own and develop the confidence that you can do it. Even if you're, entering the kitchen for the first time, you are a leader in that. So that is my concept of a leadership. But leaders, I think, one should never let go of opportunities, and you should be very analytical, strategic, foresighted to counter crisis. You should have that foresightedness to see that what can be the evident crisis, what might come up, so we well prepared. And this is definitely very much required for a woman leader. And self motivation, as I said. And I think anything what you do, one should have the zeal and tenacity, the right approach backed by education.
I agree.
Now, when I say education, Yale, I don't mean just the qualification which you attach behind your name, but real education in terms of awareness and knowing your rights, what's happening around. So you're as they say that a healthy mind in a healthy body, one has to be very very energetic and healthy in their mind and body, also physically, also to take that hard work and challenge. Work-life balance is something, yes, very much important, which I told you. And I always prefer in a team approach, how we work on management of work teams. It is one should be very very a team worker, then a team worker, then only a leader, not keeping the cards close to your chest, but also sharing your ideas and visions, and also let the team talk. What happens is more, they're very and they get that inhibitions, to talk publicly. So we as leaders should give them that space to young gen to come and talk and come forward, because unless
100%.
we do that, we are not making another leader. So our main responsibility is to work seriously on the teams, training and development, and make them leaders. So this I have always followed, and always keep some, I would say that I've kept always some examples and idols in front of me, and worked as I vision life, what I'm looking at. So these are the things. And of course communication, I come from the communication field. So I think, the art of communication is the language of leadership, as we all say. And what we must master to be a leader is what not to say, then what to say. Because as Bernard Shaw has said, that the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. So we should master that art. And another thing very very important is we should have the right attitude towards life and towards work.
Can you tell me what's the right attitude?
Well, in a very theoretical way, when I say attitude, right attitude, if you either the letters of the word attitude, if you take the numerics as A as 1, and if you go on adding A plus T plus T, you would see that equals to 100, which means that to give your 100%. Now here is the perspective. What is giving your 100%? Many times, people have come to me and say, ma'am, I have given my 100% in that work, in this presentation, but it did not get accepted. Now we have to work under a framework. So when I am the brief, as it should be very specific and important. Now 100% does not mean giving your best, what you can, but what is expected of you out of that delivery. So that is important. that is the 100%. And I would always say this young generation to have smart goals in front of you. Don't just go like a rudderless ship. So when I say smart goals, it has to be specific, it has to be measurable, it has to be attainable, it has to be relevant, and it has to be timely. So there's basically a formula to it. So if we follow this, I think we don't have to break the glass ceiling, Yale. People will come and slide the glass ceiling for us that come. This is your way. So this is very, very important, I think, to learn about the right attitude one should have. Because, there's a saying that one's talent determines what one can do. The motivation determines how much they are willing to do, but ultimately the attitude determines how well one can do it. So that is what is about right attitude.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned the attitude earlier. We spoke about the mindfulness and consciousness and everything's that related to leadership as you perfectly described it. And, I'm looking forward to many evolution patterns in terms of seeing more women on the boards. When I see what's going on, I see that there is a missing point in terms of diversity and multidisciplinary teams. And I'm writing a lot about that. And what's not going on in terms of mindset, in terms of attitude, that maybe we should help other women grow and evolve towards the next stages, the positioning, taking, a seat at the table, and I'm trying to find the different ways to empower all around, the community all over the world. What would be your quote? What would be your ultimate focus in terms of empowerment?
See, I feel that women do want to get a position or be there on the table, be at the board. But what pulls them back is the liability what they have at home, and also, like suppose women, getting married and then starting their own family. So going on maternity leave, and so I feel that certain very natural aspects are there where it becomes a sort of a hindrance for a woman to move forward. So there comes, as I have spoken, that the mindset to see that, okay, so this is the time I need to start a family, and I will start a family. Now this is the time where I need to balance both, and this is what I want to be in life. So if the vision is clear, the travel becomes more seamless, the journey becomes more seamless, because and especially, we women, it is our responsibility to pull up, to help, give a helping hand to another woman. Unless we do that, we become because for leaders, one very important thing also is compassion. This is very, very important.
Yes.
I was hearing to an interview of Michelle Obama, and there she has stressed on the point that leaders, especially women leaders, you have to be very, very inclusive, gender biased, and
compassionate.
Compassionate, because unless you are compassionate, you will not be able to take your life and understand your life also. We have to know ourselves, we have to understand, we have to understand our tribe, we have to respect our tribe as we have to respect the other genders also, but we have to give that helping hand to our tribe to see that we all move forward, like we take the journey, the movement forward. And the movement cannot happen with a single person, but it has to be all people coming together. And in sociology, there's a term called collective effervescence. So this is what is required in today's world for women to reach that level. and also to be virtuous with their values in place, where I think you have to be very upright and not compromise on your the respect or your values
Yes.
to to a large extent. Of course, I know that you have to be, one has to be little we have to adjust to many things in our professional life. We all do. Life cannot be so easy, just a bed of roses, to be very honest.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to see how we are taking it, and as much as possible to be virtuous and hold our own values, to be very very strict on certain aspects like safety, knowing our rights under posh. I am the presiding officer for my organization for internal committee for posh. So we have to know, we have to see. The more we learn, the more we are aware, the more we are and confident individual, and the more we can contest or counter any
Yes.
adversity which can pose as a hindrance for us to reach that board level or the table, as we say. And similarly, we have to go on as a leader to develop our teams in the way so that all become a very strong voice in an organization.
I think that's we often say that it takes a village to raise a child, and I think that
Yes.
this quote is also adaptable, to everything that's related to work, mission, focus, evolution of one, and you're doing such a tremendous work and sharing and engaging in your way. It's just quite impressive, and I see that there is a movement, not only coming from the top down but also from the bottom up. It also has to be supported by the teachers, the caregivers, families, and friends, and whoever can support the movement. And there is no one single movement, actually. I feel that, and that's, if I understand somehow well what you're saying, is that there are different kinds of movements and levels to address.
Yes.
Almost, with a lot of challenges that we're gonna have to face within the next few years. So that's impressive, and I'm really both looking forward to what's gonna happen on your side, but also a bit concerned about the future of the children of the next generation.
Because see, more we practice rather than preach, it becomes very easy. Because see, our metro rail in Hyderabad, we have more than 40 women loco pilots who drive the trains. So there comes the practical application. The application is very important. The execution is very important, not only on the pie charts in your presentations at work.
Yeah, exactly. What would be the most the biggest advice that you would like to share with other women?
I would say that empowerment is something which is in you. You just need to, it is dormant. You just have to invoke it. Whatever you want to do in life, please be a confident and independent individual in terms of financial independence, in terms of your education, in terms of your thinking, in which can be your own motivator. Another important thing what we lack nowadays is we are so busy and running in the race, is that we don't do a lot of self introspection. If we say that we know ourselves, knowing ourselves is a very difficult thing to do, and we should master that. How in management we know there's a Johari window. You have those 4 quadrants of known self and hidden self and blind self. So it is very important for one to study that and master that, because self introspection helps us a lot in finding ourselves and our vision and our way forward. Balancing of ego, everything, any problem starts in your individual life or your professional life, is the imbalance of ego, as Sigmund Freud said that you have to balance your ID, ego, and super ego. This is very, very important for one to learn to have a very balanced and very, comfortable and peaceful life, because ultimately what we are looking at is peace in the world. And of course, join forces to help each other, which we already discussed, and create a brand for ourselves. I think this is very important. We should individually be our independent brand to take that forward, so that we, through our activities, we become an example for others to follow and help them in the journey. That is something very, very important. And unless we believe in ourselves and every morning get up and when you're brushing your teeth say, hey, I am really good, but I need to be better, I think that's the magic potion. My message to everyone at this point of time is we have to be a little tolerant. We have to be a little patient. Yes. And we have to be conscious about our societal responsibilities also. And, self-reliant is the only thing which we can think of now to be secured financially, because after all, everyone has their own liabilities and families, and we know whatever is happening in the world. So we have to go by the trend, like how we are going more digital now. We have to accept that. Following the trend, I think is more practical for someone to adopt. And that's it. Life. Let's not make life so complicated. Yes, I know hurdles are there. It is very easy for one to say when you're sitting on a safe zone, but nevertheless, we have to take life each day as it comes. Else, if we too bogged down on the negative aspects what we see around, it would not give us that energy to limp back to normalcy. So I think we just have to take life as it comes.
Anindita, thank you so much. Thank you, Anindita. This was a perfect conclusion. Thank you so much for being so inspiring and mindful. It means a lot to me. Thank you for your passion and compassion and gratitude.
Thank you so much, Yael, and thanks to each and everyone who would be hearing this podcast. Wish everyone a bright future, success, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're working for a corporate, whatever it is, and stay safe. Please, we have still not got over it, so let's not be very overconfident. Stay safe, everyone, and follow all the safety protocols.